The unloved true heiress, after transferring to an elite school, I was constantly bullied, until one day, a colorful-haired girl and her gang cornered me in an alley demanding protection money, not taking your money for nothing. Call me if you need anything. So, when I got cornered by the school bully again, I shakily dialed that number. Hey, Evelyn, save me, who would have thought? Just buy them a lemonade afterward, and they'll really come through for you. The first time I met Evelyn was on my way to the subway station, riding a shared bike. I hadn't been riding long when suddenly several people dragged me and my bike into an alley. Who would have thought? I ended up being helped off the bike by several people. The leader was a girl with colorful hair, accompanied by 7 blondes: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It's the first time I've seen so many colors on one person's head. It made me freeze for a moment. Then she glared at me menacingly and threatened, "Pay up, will you hand it over, or do we have to search you?" I was speechless. A few blonde punks stared at me, letting out sinister chuckles. "Heh heh heh." Instinctively, I said, "Hold on, don't be hasty, none of us carry cash these days. And if you try scanning QR codes, you'll get caught by the police in no time." The consequence was that yellow hair nearly swung his fist, big as a sand pot, at me. Terrified, I clutched my backpack and shouted, "Actually, here's an idea, you can take me shopping, and I'll pay." The colorful-haired girl shoved big yellow hair aside and grabbed my collar. "Don't try anything funny," she snapped. Okay, at that moment, my mind was racing with calculations. Although I attended an elite school, I was merely the unloved biological daughter of a wealthy family. $5,000 in monthly allowance was truly a substantial amount for me, right at the start of school. My glasses were shattered by the bullies who stepped on them. I just spent over $1,000 on a new pair, adding the expenses for purchasing premium online course examples and the shared bike fee I'm about to pay. I'm left with $3,986.6 on me. If divided equally among 8 people, each person would only have a quota of $498.325. If I beg them again, maybe they'll leave me enough for round-trip fare, shared ride plus subway plus taxi, totaling $296. Today is the birthday of the fake heiress Nicole, and the Green family is hosting a grand banquet for guests. They said if I don't show up, they'll cut off my allowance. This Green family, I'll still have to go back. I'll try my best not to have to walk back. Then they took me to buy 8 cups of lemonade, 8 fried chicken combos, and 8 starch sausages. I was speechless. I bought lemonade and fried chicken, even used subsidies. Total spent $287.2, a modest request. The colorful-haired girl patted my shoulder while eating with greasy lips. "Remember, my name's Evelyn, I'm the boss around here. Since I've taken your protection money, you're under my wing now. Call me if anything happens." With that, she rode off on one of 3 electric scooters, followed by 7 blonde-haired lackeys. Her ponytail fluttered in the wind under the sunset, like a beautiful rainbow. After riding my bike for half an hour, transferring 4 subway lines, and finally taking a 45-minute taxi ride home, it was already past 9 in the evening. All the guests have already left. Only the Green family of 4 remains. Nicole really went all out with her outfit today, wearing a little crown, dressed in haute couture, sitting there looking aggrieved. The moment I stepped inside, my biological father, mother, and brother all turned to look at me with expressions as if facing an enemy. Only Nicole stood up, her face a mix of tears and joyful smiles. "Sis, you're back." My blood-related brother Chandler was the first to explode. "Do you really want us to become laughingstocks?" I adjusted my glasses, somewhat helplessly. The car didn't wait for me. The moment I stepped out of the school gate, I saw the Green family's car speeding away. Nicole even rolled down the window and flipped me off. Chandler was furious. "Cut out your dirty thoughts," Nicole already called back. "It was you who absolutely refused to ride in the same car with her." Nicole tugged at him. "Brother, don't scold her anymore. It's all my fault. I made my sister dislike me." Mrs. Green also sighed deeply. "Mom understands you're feeling wronged, but you shouldn't take it out on your sister. She waited so long for you that she didn't even cut the cake." "Mom, stop." Chandler continued to blame me. "Even if you took public transportation, you shouldn't have been this late." I honestly said, "I was robbed," which delayed me a bit. Chandler said, "You can even make up such a lie." I obediently opened my payment records. Yes, I was robbed. 8 fried chicken combos, 8 cups of lemonade, and 8 starch sausages were snatched. Nicole froze for a moment, her eyes suddenly reddening again. So my sister made friends and went out for dinner with them. I was speechless. It vividly illustrates the saying, even if you hang yourself, those who don't love you will think you're just swinging on a swing. Sometimes I feel like the Green family is a bunch of NPCs. The same terrible scenes play out day after day. Nicole cries, Chandler curses, Mrs. Green sighs heavily, Mr. Green pretends to be dead beside her, occasionally stabbing me in the back. I've explained it before. For example, when I was first found, Chandler protected Nicole. He said, so what if you're the biological child? Don't even think about taking away my love for Nicole. I nervously told him, hello, please don't worry, actually. I'm not familiar with you at all and don't have such strong possessiveness. I got scolded even worse, or later, when they decided to send me to boarding school, saying they'd only give me $5,000 in pocket money per month. Mrs. Green said, don't be jealous of your sister, you're suddenly rich after being poor, and I'm afraid you can't handle it. I sincerely thanked her, you're very generous. I used to collect bottles to make ends meet. She ended up losing her cool. Chandler rushed out again to yell at me, saying, don't play the victim card with me. That act won't work on us. How am I supposed to respond to this? I'm completely at a loss, so I could only quietly hold my school bag and wait for them to finish their performance. Then, following the pattern, the gentle and considerate adopted daughter would step forward to give everyone a way out. Actually, I kind of want to eat cake now. Pretty hungry. I really regret being too scared earlier when Rainbow invited me to share some fried chicken and starch sausage, but I didn't dare to eat. As a result, the whole way while transferring buses, I kept thinking about how crispy that starch sausage was fried and how fragrant the seasoning smelled. But today, Nicole was really hamming it up. She suddenly burst into tears and ran toward Mrs. Green. It's me who took Big Sister's place. It's only natural that she hates me, Mom. She's your real daughter. How could you give me a black card while only giving her $5,000 for living expenses? Have the driver pick me up every day while making her live at school? Mrs. Green's heart ached terribly. Nicole, don't cry. This was Mom and Dad's decision. It has nothing to do with you. Her eyes filled with warning as she glared at me. Big Sister won't hate you either. She knows this is what she deserves, right, Lily? Nicole turned her head and looked at me expectantly. Sister, can you promise not to be angry with me anymore? I paused for a moment. Of course, I've never been angry with you, Nicole said. I don't believe you. Otherwise, why wouldn't you want to ride back with me and went to dinner with someone else instead? I was starting to feel a bit helpless. But we're just strangers, not even related by blood. How could I possibly have any expectations of you? I knew I shouldn't have taken this acting role. The NPC group has lost their composure again. Chandler slapped me and demanded, who exactly are you insinuating about? Mrs. Green said, go back to school. Mr. Green said coldly, since you don't like taking the family car, then don't. Go back the way you came. Before I left, I confirmed with them. Will you still cover tuition and living expenses? Get the hell out. Fine. I rushed back to school as fast as I could, and it was already past 11 p.m. Once back in the dorm, I immediately turned on my computer and started studying. To be honest, I never wanted to transfer to this school in the first place. The school's learning atmosphere is quite poor. It's not as good as the top high school I worked so hard to get into, but the Green family scolded me harshly, especially Chandler, who said to me, Nicole attends an elite school, while you go to that shabby school for poor people. Are you trying to deliberately play the victim and make others criticize us? Fine, I had no choice but to come, but the teachers at this school refused to put in any effort during class, saving all their energy for after-school tutoring sessions with high hourly rates. Moreover, so-called celebrity tutors openly come and go from the school premises. I was completely shocked when I first arrived. Is this legal? I've also brought it up with the Green family. I just want a tutor, an ordinary one will do. But then Mrs. Green made a sarcastic remark. There's no need for you to worry about studying, you're already 17. Do you think throwing resources at you now could turn you into a scientist? I said I always ranked first. Mrs. Green seemed to chuckle at that. I heard it through the receiver. She said, impressive indeed. Small-town problem solver. What do you think she was so smug about? She's not a scientist either. Looking at that worthless diploma, she probably couldn't even solve basic problems before, right? I don't really understand either. There's no way to force your way into an NPC's world. Fine, if you don't want a tutor, then don't. Fortunately, there are plenty of high-quality online courses taught by famous teachers available now. Most of them are free, even on other platforms. Recharging won't cost much. I made a study plan for myself. I thought I was going to miss the deadline today. Fortunately, I managed to catch up when I got back. Luckily enough, I bought a starch sausage on my way back. This school has only single dorm rooms. Late at night, I was studying while eating starch sausages, utterly satisfied. However, the next day, my classmate Lucy said I was too noisy reading aloud in the morning. This guy is the schoolyard bully, with countless lackeys following him around. Plus, she's really close with Nicole. On my very first day entering the school gates, she was the one who stomped on and broke my glasses. I knew she was here to pick a fight, but there was nothing I could do about it. I could only shrink my neck. Sorry, I'll be more careful next time. Lucy patted my face and sneered. Being careful is enough. The thought of a poor wretch like you attending the same school as us makes me sick. Don't leave after school. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Me, I'll tell the teacher. Lucy slapped me hard across the face with a loud smack. Go ahead and try. Soon I understood the meaning behind Lucy's go ahead and try. I was the top student in my grade, sitting in the front row, yet I spent the whole day attending classes with a slap mark on my face, and not a single teacher asked about it. They didn't even dare to meet my gaze, and so I spent the day feeling like I was sitting on pins and needles. Before class ended, I had no choice but to give Mrs. Green a call. It went through first, the call was disconnected again, left with no choice. I had to make a call to that rainbow girl. Hey, Evelyn, I'm in a bit of trouble, Evelyn said. Who are you? I babbled on and on. She said, oh, you're that lemonade fried chicken grilled sausage girl, right? Don't worry, just wait and I'll come save you. Then she asked me, where did that person say they were going to beat you up? I said I didn't know. Evelyn was speechless. Just wait for me after school. I didn't manage to leave in time after school. Lucy then dragged me to the restroom with her gang. The bathroom, it's actually the bathroom. I don't know how to inform Evelyn either. Without saying a word, Lucy threw a punch straight at my face, instantly made my nose bleed, and I cried from the pain. Lucy, I didn't offend you. She said I was reading too loudly, but she doesn't even live on campus, does she? Lucy and her two lackeys sneered. A rotten cabbage like you. How dare you compare to Senior Nicole? I felt even more wronged. I wasn't trying to compare myself to her. Why should I compare myself to her? Her grades aren't as good as mine. Her character is worse than mine, and she's not even as good-looking as I am. Her only advantage is better acting skills. But I don't plan to pursue a career in the entertainment industry anyway. Still talking back. In the blink of an eye, I headbutt Lucy right in the stomach, taking advantage of her scream. I turned and ran, didn't get away. Her two lackeys quickly grabbed me, dragged me back, and started punching and kicking. Beat this little bitch to death. Help, why do these NPCs hit so hard? My new glasses got smashed again. Just as I was being beaten half to death, someone suddenly kicked open the bathroom door. Here, at that moment, my glasses were gone, and with my severe nearsightedness of over 800 degrees, all I could see was a blur of colorful lights, as if surrounded by a yellow buff. Lucy screamed, who the hell are you? Then came the sounds of fighting and swearing, gibberish, crashing and banging, and then came Lucy and the others' cries and shouts. Security, security, Evelyn roared. Security my ass, hold her down and make her eat shit. A familiar male voice, the same, guy from before, said. The bathroom's been cleaned, no shit here. Want me to take a fresh dump for her? Lucy managed only a faint cry, slapped away again. Finally, Evelyn grabbed Lucy and said, I'm an orphan, dirt poor, got nothing to lose. If you dare mess with this little girl again, I'll stab you to death and run. This incident caused a huge uproar. How Evelyn and her crew managed to sneak into school with that hair color and pinpoint me remains a mystery to this day. They beat me up and just walked away. Lucy cried her eyes out while reporting it to the police. The police even came to question me. I said I didn't know. My glasses were crushed by them, and I'm severely nearsighted with over 800 degrees. The police officer asked again, why did they show up when you were being beaten? Are you sure you don't know them? I said, maybe because they're kind. The police were speechless. I grabbed the officer. Can I get compensation for my glasses? They're newly prescribed and cost over $1,000. Also, Since Lucy hit me, can I report her too? She's over 16, right? Shouldn't she be legally responsible? The officer genuinely wanted to help me file a report, but the Green family quickly insisted it wasn't necessary. I was hospitalized at the time, Mrs. Green said coldly. Stop making a scene. It'll be so embarrassing if this escalates, Mr. Green added. Their family has already come to apologize, and we've even secured a new business deal as compensation, I said. But I didn't get any benefits from this, and she never apologized to me, Chandler said coldly. Apologize to you? Why don't you think about how Lucy, such a well-educated young lady from a good family, could be provoked into such anger by you? Nicole cried again beside them. Mom, Dad, brother, don't blame sister. She must be in so much pain. I said, how about this? Give me a one-time payment of $100,000 and increase my living expenses to $20,000, then I won't call the police. If Rainbow and her gang get caught, whether it's going to court or fleeing, they'll need money. The whole family looked at me in shock. I said, is that okay? It's not much. Nicole's shoes from her last birthday cost more than $100,000, Chandler coldly remarked. You're truly hopeless, Mr. Green said. It's a family disgrace to have raised a beggar, but I finally got my hands on the money. The police kept coming to take my statement. I remained calm each time but insisted on filing a report. They always stopped me. The police were getting a bit annoyed. They really didn't have the energy to keep arguing with me over this small amount of money, yet, in the end, no one managed to catch Evelyn and her 7 blonde brothers, a woman shrouded in mystery. Later I found out that Evelyn could be the boss because she had some tricks up her sleeve. She was really good at leading her crew in guerrilla tactics, right under the cops' noses. Lucy's luxury car got splattered with pig manure and had its tires slashed. Someone even disguised themselves as a delivery guy and put a dead rat in Lucy's takeout order. The Liu family really didn't want to waste energy on such matters, so they simply transferred Lucy to a school abroad. After being discharged from the hospital and returning to school, I felt completely refreshed. The whole school knew I was under her protection. I got myself a beautiful new pair of glasses again, this time. I won't worry about someone smashing it again. As for them gossiping about me behind my back, whatever, NPCs with low IQ and bad character aren't worth communicating with. From then on, I climbed over the wall every day to wander around the streets. One day, I finally ran into Evelyn and her 7 little blonde brothers. Evelyn grabbed me by the collar. Pay up for protection. I couldn't help but laugh. How about I treat you all to a meal? Evelyn froze for a moment, then growled fiercely. What's so funny? This is protection money, I said. All right, protection money. That day, I generously told Evelyn that my allowance had increased. Evelyn was overjoyed to hear it. She said, then let's go splurge big time. So they took me to CF Lane, a place locally nicknamed Junk Food Street. We had sour and spicy noodles, skewers, stir-fried rice noodles, osmanthus fermented glutinous rice ice jelly, grilled cold noodles. Total cost, $369, still a modest indulgence. Evelyn still says the same thing. Call me if you need anything. From then on, I took care of Evelyn and her 7 little blondies' lemonade and barbecue snacks. Every afternoon after school, I'd go out for an hour-long walk, tell Evelyn to come collect the protection fee from me. The school cafeteria meals are certainly nutritious, but nothing compares to the vibrant allure and down-to-earth charm of junk food. The Green family contacted me again because I was selected for the national training team of the informatics competition. This means I'll be directly admitted to a prestigious university. At our school, the admission rate isn't low, and even more students go abroad. But someone like me, who independently participated in competitions and got selected for the national training team, is the first. The whole school was buzzing with excitement. I specifically called to notify the Green family, stupidly. Chandler's first response upon hearing it was, "Are you sure you didn't make a mistake?" Later, it was confirmed to be true. In any case, this was something that brought honor to the Green family. The butler from the Green family sent someone to deliver a beautiful dress and shoes. He instructed me to dress up, as they would come to take me home tomorrow. The madam has prepared a grand banquet for you, to introduce you to high society. I paused for a moment, then accepted them. That afternoon, as usual, I went to see Evelyn to hand over the protection money, but as soon as I entered the alley, Evelyn rushed out and punched me hard on the shoulder. "You're amazing." I laughed too. "Not bad." Evelyn grabbed my arm. "Come on, let's go." Today we're going to eat something good to celebrate. Then she took me to a hole-in-the-wall eatery. For once, she treated me. She also gave me a piece of clothing. I shook it open. It was a white t-shirt. It must be custom-made, with the words, "I'm the best in the world," written on it. I was also stunned for a moment. She said, "I ordered it before you went to the competition. I originally wanted you to wear it for the match, but it only arrived yesterday," Blondie said. "Luckily it didn't arrive in time, otherwise wearing this to the competition would have been so embarrassing." Got punched by Evelyn. I carefully folded the clothes, placed them in a plastic bag, and said earnestly, "Next time, decide earlier." Evelyn froze for a moment. Winning first place has made you bold, daring to make demands of Evelyn now. The little hole-in-the-wall joint had a bold enough flavor. Evelyn ordered barbecue, stir-fried pork intestines with pickled cabbage, spicy Chinese yam, spicy river snails, clams and foil, and marinated duck snacks. We also had some drinks together. It was my first time drinking alcohol, and I got tipsy after just one sip. Turns out I'm not built for drinking. Evelyn has the courage to drink but not the capacity. She gets tipsy after just 2 glasses. She patted me on the shoulder and said, "This meal is our farewell dinner. You fly high." Her words were slurred. Blondie A and Blondie B supported her on either side. I took advantage of Evelyn being drunk and asked them, "So which one of you is actually her boyfriend?" Blondie A said, "It's me." Blondie B said, "No, it's me." Then suddenly, they both slammed the table and started cursing at each other. They ended up in a fight, beating each other black and blue, which startled Evelyn awake. She picked up a brick from the roadside and chased after them, giving both a beating. We took a group photo that day, with my student haircut, wearing a plain white t-shirt and jeans, thick glasses on my face. I stood amidst a riot of colors, forcing out a stiff, unnatural smile. Evelyn was different. Her smile was radiant. Drunkenly pointing at the photo, she said, "Hey, you're definitely going to be a great scientist someday. When you're on TV, I'll point at you and tell everyone you used to be under my wing." And wasn't she right? She did have my back. She was my oversized rainbow-colored umbrella during adolescence. The next day, I didn't wake up until the sun was high in the sky. As soon as I got up, my phone was blowing up with calls. Chandler also sent me a bunch of voice messages. "How much more pretentious can you get? Are you really that eager to embarrass Nicole? Let me tell you, our family doesn't need a college graduate like you. Don't think you're so special." I casually listened to a few of them and found them utterly meaningless. I simply tossed my phone aside, washed my face in the bathroom, combed my hair, and headed out. Chandler was leaning against his luxury car waiting for me. When he saw me wearing my "I'm the best in the world" t-shirt, he instantly turned red with anger. He asked me, "What the hell is that shirt?" I looked down and said, "A friend gave it to me. It was specially customized for me before my competition." After saying that, I tried to get into the car. Chandler pushed me away forcefully. "Before, when they told us you were hanging out with shady people, I didn't believe it. Now I see you've really fallen. Go change out of that trashy outfit right now. Otherwise, don't even think about stepping into the Green family's house." I said, "Fine." Then I went back to the dormitory to study. An hour passed. Chandler called me, furious on the other end. "What on earth are you up to?" I was completely baffled. "Didn't you say I shouldn't enter your house unless I change clothes?" "Fine, I won't go in then." Chandler then proceeded to berate me for over 10 minutes. It got on my nerves. "Can you just clearly state what you want? Do you want me to come home or not?" Chandler roared angrily. "Get out here, now, immediately, right this second." On the way back, Chandler didn't even glance at me. He was still calling Nicole right beside me. "Don't worry, I've already picked her up. Take good care of Mom. Don't let her feel too upset." "Yeah, I know. I can't be bothered to argue with her. The whole family is counting on you." Saying this while glancing at me sideways, I looked at him puzzled. What exactly is he trying to say? It wasn't until we reached the Green family's gate that I was about to get out of the car when he suddenly grabbed me. I frowned. "Hello, please let go," Chandler said coldly. "Put away your little tricks. Stop pretending to be distant. Do you think this will make us feel guilty and soften our hearts? Do you think your good grades can replace Nicole's position in the Green family? You're dreaming. Let me tell you, the GU group has plenty of graduates from prestigious universities. You're nothing." I adjusted my glasses and looked at him, somewhat puzzled. Beyond the cold lenses, he looked like a clown. He suddenly snapped. "What's with that look?" I said. "Actually, I really don't understand why you keep mentioning guilt and soft-heartedness, as if these were things I wanted but you couldn't give. Humans may be social animals with an instinct for communal living. But blood ties aren't the only bonds that maintain relationships. It's just that modern laws and ethical norms dictate you have a duty to raise me, so you don't need to feel so much pressure. Give your love to whoever you want, I don't mind. As soon as the words were spoken, Chandler raised his hand and slapped me, and knocked my glasses off again. He grabbed me by the neck and called me a bitch. Whatever nonsense he was spouting was automatically filtered out by me. Then Evelyn's words flashed through my mind, choke me, and I'll break your ribs. I delivered 2 sharp chops to Chandler's ribs with all my strength. Chandler let out a scream and released his grip, allowing me to leap off the vehicle and flee. He cursed loudly as he grabbed hold of me again. Evelyn said, if grabbed from behind, kick backward. I kicked backward, landing my foot on his knee. He grabbed my hair again, forcing me to turn around. Evelyn said, grab the hair, strike the groin. I swung my fist in a wide arc and struck his groin. The driver, who had just been watching the commotion, was terrified and rushed over to grab me. Miss, stop it, Evelyn said. If someone grabs you, stomp their foot. If grabbed from behind, swing backward. If carried on someone's shoulder, chop their neck. The driver was beaten by me until he had no choice but to let go. Seizing the opportunity, I jumped onto Chandler's shoulders, grabbed his hair, and tore at his nostrils. The nanny watching the commotion at the door rushed inside to inform the Green family. In no time, the Green family and a large crowd of guests came rushing out. Chandler was spinning me around in circles. Woo-hoo-hoo, Nicole screamed and rushed over. Let go of my brother. I kicked him mid-air. Mrs. Green nearly had a heart attack and collapsed weakly into the arms of the nanny beside her, turning her head and seeing guests recording videos and chatting cheerfully. She suddenly perked up again and hurriedly went to stop them. Mr. Green roared, what are you waiting for? Pull her down now. A group of security guards and nannies rushed toward me. My legs were grabbed, pulling me off Chandler, but I still lunged at the driver. The driver thought I was going to hit him and protectively covered his head in fear. Then I snatched his phone. After that, no matter how much the Green family insulted me, I remained silent. With my glasses knocked off and my vision blurred, I frantically pressed my phone to call the police. When the call connects, I'll hold up the driver's phone high. This phone contains dashcam footage. It can prove Chandler choked me and attempted to murder me. My actions were entirely in self-defense. The driver rushed over to snatch it. I took a step back. The call to the police is still connected. Are you trying to destroy evidence, Mr. James? The driver froze. Mr. Green was furious and started yelling, what are you doing? He's your own brother. I turned towards his direction. Probably the right one. Domestic violence is illegal too, Dad. Thankful I live in a society governed by law. At that moment, I felt like I'm the queen of the world. In my chest was glowing. The guests left. The police arrived. I showed them the strangulation marks on my neck and insisted that Chandler had tried to strangle me. The bruised and battered Chandler kept shouting, how could I possibly strangle her? She's my own sister, I said calmly, but I genuinely felt my life was threatened. Nicole cried, sister, it's all my fault. If I hadn't taken your place, your relationship with brother wouldn't be so bad. I said, oh, so it was you who instigated it. I really didn't know that. Nicole shut her mouth. Mr. Green said, how far are you going to take this? I could feel his spit spraying onto my face. I turned my head and groped around blindly. Because of my severe nearsightedness, a female police officer had to steady me. She gasped sharply, what's wrong with you? I said, oh, it's fine, I'm nearsighted with 800 degrees. And Chandler knocked my glasses off. I thought for a moment and added, this is the 3rd pair of glasses I've had broken. The police officer was speechless. This matter could be either trivial or serious. The Green family would naturally pull out all the stops to prevent the situation from escalating, but that only applies on a legal level. The scandal involving the Green family's fake heiress and the super male heir has already become a laughingstock within their circle. Mr. Green couldn't stand this the most and had been busy pulling strings everywhere. He said, are you happy now that it's come to this? You troublemaker, I didn't understand. Theoretically, you should address your son's violent tendencies. If he keeps this up, something bad will happen sooner or later. He said I was as stubborn as a mule, but he can't hit me anymore, because I'll fight back and call the police. I can't send them to jail, but I can make their lives miserable. thanks to Evelyn for teaching me this philosophy of dealing with things. She had not the slightest trace of authority fear. Having been tormented to this extent and feigning heart trouble all along, Mrs. Green, who had been under Nicole's meticulous care, finally decided to have a proper talk with me. This was the first time the two of us, mother and daughter, met alone. Mrs. Green's skin was porcelain white, her face oval-shaped, with eyes like luminous pearls. She loves pearls. On her earlobes, around her neck, and on her wrists. They gleam with a cold, pale white under the light. She picked up the tea Nicole had brought her, took a sip, and sighed. "What exactly do you want?" Next came her torrent of nonsense, which I summarized into 3 main points. Do you have any idea what you're missing out on? You think getting into a good university through recommendation makes you special. Do you realize that even top-tier diplomas are just the minimum requirement to access these connections? And you're making such a scene. Do you really not care about your future at all? And also, I know you resent your brother. When you were little, he was the one who lost you. But back then, he was just a child too. In the future, he'll be your greatest support. Finally, you're arrogant and look down on Nicole, always feeling she's taken your place. But don't be resentful. She was raised in the Green family since childhood and far surpasses you in social graces. Her future achievements are destined to far exceed yours. Summary. I understand you're young and impulsive, unwilling to tolerate any slight. But when your father and I are gone, your brother and Nicole will be your only support. For your own good, please don't embarrass us anymore. Okay, that's all. I slowly turned my head and adjusted my newly prescribed glasses. I've had a particular skill since childhood. Hearing nonsensical talk automatically makes me identify the other person as an NPC. I don't know when it started. I vaguely remember the first NPC in my life was a human trafficker. He used to beat me often, leaving no part of my body unharmed, and I even ran a high fever that nearly killed me. But if you treat him as an NPC and diligently complete the tasks he assigns, there's no problem. Later, I was sold to a family who eventually had their own child and also beat and kicked me. It wasn't until the newly arrived village officials discovered I wasn't receiving compulsory education and sent me to school that they realized my IQ was astonishingly high. Only after hearing villagers say I could earn money to support their families Yao Zhu did I gain the right to continue my education. In those years, I went to school, did household chores, endured insults, got beaten, picked up trash, figuring out the rules of survival all on my own. The most important thing was never trying to empathize with NPCs. When I heard I was the Green family's real heiress and was taken back to the wealthy household, I observed my surroundings and quickly realized I'd switched from one scenario to another, replaced with a bunch of inexplicable NPCs. But since it's a game, and we're dealing with NPCs, that means they can be upgraded. NPC quests don't necessarily have to be completed either. Like what Evelyn taught me, you can slap NPCs in the face. NPCs like Mrs. Green, who are called Mom, carry themselves with an air of superiority, mixed with a hint of probing and impatience. I wouldn't tell her that I don't actually have such high material desires. The things she talks about feel so abstract and elusive to me that they border on pretentiousness. As for what I truly like and care about, she didn't guess any of them right. Lily, she called me. I thought about it and decided to make a modest demand. Give me $2 million up front. Then $50,000 every month after that, and don't bother me anymore. I promise I'll be as quiet as a mouse from now on. Mrs. Green was speechless. I said earnestly, "This is your comfort zone, isn't it? Playing the role of Madame Gu from high society." Mrs. Green flushed with anger. "How can you be so greedy and cold-blooded? Don't you have even a shred of human emotion in your heart? I really don't understand. They made it clear from the moment I entered this house that they wouldn't give me familial love. Why must I demand it? Is this batch of NPCs following that kind of plot where I cry, beg, and plead for them to show me a little familial affection, but they just refuse, and in the end, we end up tormenting each other? Then sorry, the mission's cost-performance ratio is too low," I said. "If you don't give me money, I won't go back to school. I'll stick to your house like a plaster. When guests come over, I'll jump out and scream, playing the victim. I beat Chandler every time I see him, and curse Nicole whenever she's around. I'll go online and become famous by trashing the Green family. I'll make your life miserable. You won't be able to eat or sleep peacefully until you develop full-blown paranoia. Like this." After saying that, I spat into her teacup. Mrs. Green widened her eyes in horror, then let out a piercing dog-like scream. That day, Mrs. Green said I gave her a heart attack with anger, and she even cried. She was so heartbroken, so bewildered, as if I had slapped her, choked her, or called her trash and scum. Nicole held her tightly, comforting her through tears, looking at me as if wanting to say something but hesitating. Finally, she whispered softly, "Sister, why are you doing this? She's our mother. She carried you for 10 months and gave birth to you." I said, "Pay up. I've figured out the main storyline and can't be bothered with side quests anymore." Nicole bit her lip, tears still streaming down her face, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Sister, you'll definitely regret this someday." I gave her a thumbs up and sincerely praised. "Your expression is so vivid. It could be textbook material for Beijing Film Academy." Nicole was speechless. Mrs. Green clutched her chest and shouted, "Transfer her the money, get her out of here." Truly, the low-class upbringing from a poor mountain village shows in your limited perspective. When you come crawling back in regret, I won't let you through the Green family gates even if you beg on your knees. From now on, consider yourself no daughter of mine. I didn't understand. 2 million. That paltry sum wouldn't even cover Madame Green's pearl necklace. She's yelling for nothing. I didn't bother with the Green family's follow-up plot. After leaving the Green family, I went back to school, but they told me I couldn't stay in the dorm during summer break. While searching everywhere for housing, I ran into Evelyn. She looked at me with surprise. "Weren't you taken back by the Greens?" After a while, she noticed the unhealed bruises on my face and neck, instantly exploding like a rainbow firecracker. "What happened? Aren't you supposed to be at your own home? Who went to your house and beat you up?" I said, "I've already fought back. Using those moves you taught me," Evelyn confirmed. "Did you beat them badly?" I nodded, "Very badly. I even split their nostrils open. They needed stitches." Only then did Evelyn calm down and grace me with her presence, allowing me to treat her and the 7 little blondies to a raid on junk food street. We found a small stall and sat down to eat and drink heartily. Evelyn had some alcohol and asked me about my plans. I said, "Just hang around until school starts, then go back to studying." Evelyn thought for a moment and said, "All right, how about you come with me to make bubble tea? Big sis will still have your back." I never expected her to be shaking milk tea. Imagine her wearing a wig during the day to earn money by shaking milk tea. But once her shift ends, she breaks free from her disguise and transforms into the Rainbow Princess, roaming the world with her 7 little blondes. So damn cool. But I still politely declined. I won't shake the milk tea. Mainly because my hands are naturally clumsy, since childhood. Even though I did a lot of manual labor, no matter how many times I tried, I could never do it well, and I often got beaten by my adoptive parents. Evelyn listened, patted my head, and said to me, "It's okay, that just means your hands weren't made for this kind of work." The meal cost a total of $321.6. I almost threw up from eating too much. Evelyn said it was getting late and asked me to go home with her. Wherever your sister lives, there's always a place to shelter you from wind and rain. Evelyn rented an apartment in an urban village resettlement building with 7 blonde-haired guys. Though small, the sparrow has all its vital organs. She keeps her home spotlessly clean. The house has 5 floors in total, and all the little blondies live in the same building with her. All 7 little blondies are orphans. But Evelyn herself isn't actually an orphan. She was just given away as a child bride at a very young age. Later, unable to endure the abuse from her husband's family, she fled back to her parents' home and chopped off her drunkard father's arm. She was sent to juvenile detention for a few years. It was only in juvenile detention that she learned to read and write. Otherwise, she wouldn't have recognized a single character and wouldn't have been able to shake milk tea after getting out. She told this story when she was drunk, speaking with great enthusiasm, as if recounting heroic deeds, but I knew very well that her story didn't make sense. Normally, she would have been sent to her husband's family at a very young age. If she wanted to kill someone, it would have been easier to target members of her husband's family. Why would she suddenly flee so far away? Wasn't she actually going back to seek help? Something must have happened again that led her to take drastic action against her biological father, whom she theoretically wasn't familiar with. Later, I quietly asked one of the little blondies about it. The little blondie said, not only did that family refuse to help her, but the old bastard even groped her when he was drunk. She was so terrified that she accidentally chopped him. But don't bring this up in front of her. She cares about her dignity and doesn't want anyone to know she used to have a miserable life. I paused for a moment and said, got it. The 7 little blondies started following Evelyn to make a living at a very young age. She seemed like someone who never felt anxious, even though she was barely scraping by herself. She dared to take on everything. If there was food today, they'd eat today. If they went hungry tomorrow, they'd worry about it then. She couldn't be bothered to make any long-term plans. She used to support 7 younger siblings by making bubble tea alone. Now those little blondies have made something of themselves. They've formed a group and become borderline streamers. I still have study tasks and need to allocate time daily to prepare for university courses in advance, so the tiny rented apartment was often like this. 7 blonde guys were filming suggestive content. I was studying. The small place didn't even have room to turn around, making it impossible to avoid. The cheerful Evelyn rarely showed embarrassment, so she said, "Go upstairs to take pictures, don't disturb her." The 7 little blondies chattered complaints. Evelyn said, "She's had it tough too, and you've eaten so much of her food. You've got to show some loyalty." The little blonde guy jerked his chin in my direction. Evelyn turned her head and saw my eyes wide as saucers. Evelyn wondered, "Aren't you studying anymore?" I said, "Of course I am. You guys wipe yours. I'll study mine." Who doesn't watch short videos? Watching live versions works too. Besides, these blonde guys actually have top-tier looks and figures. It's just that the traffic is really poor. I even gave Evelyn some advice. How about selling some BL content? Here's an idea. I'll write some scripts for you later. Evelyn speechless. It's quite magical, really. I couldn't tell these blonde guys apart before. To me, they were just background NPCs from Rainbow Princess and her 7 blondies. But after seeing their suggestive content, I suddenly recognized them now. During the day, I'd visit Evelyn's place where she shakes milk tea. She's really amazing. Her speed alone can match that of 3 milk tea girls combined. Plus, the shop has many hit items, all thanks to the recipes she came up with. That shop owner is a bit shady, kept calling me Evelyn this and Evelyn that, then ended up stealing my recipe for free. I'm acting all sneaky. I'm watching with cold eyes. I waited for my chance. And so, I spent the happiest summer of my life. When school started, Evelyn saw me off at the airport. She looked at me with a smile and said, "This time, it's really goodbye." I just leaned in to give her a hug. "I'll be back," she said. "Why come back? Go fly high." I opened my mouth but didn't tell her. I bought a small dessert shop. When I'm gone, someone will come to ask her to be a pastry chef. Only after getting off the plane did I receive a call from the Green family. "Chandler was yelling at me over there. Why aren't you back yet?" Chandler said. "There's a limit to being sentimental. You have half an hour to get your ass back here. Otherwise, don't you dare step foot in the Green family's house again." I looked up at the blue sky. I'm in the imperial capital. Chandler was stunned for a moment. "What? Today is my reporting day." Chandler frowned and said, "If you weren't so rebellious, we would never have forgotten the day you were supposed to report." Yet they still sent Nicole to report. The family took a bunch of photos, flooding their social media feeds. It was all so performative. Although Nicole was a sophomore and I was a freshman, our university registration times were almost the same. Maybe their IQ is a bit low. They couldn't even think of that. I chuckled lightly and said, "Oh, then I'll go register." He started howling again. I hung up the phone, stepping into the nation's top academic institution. My world suddenly became rich and refreshing. Above, I saw the vast blue sky. Below, I beheld the boundless sea of knowledge. That feeling was truly marvelous. I should say I'd been waiting for this day ever since I can remember. It wasn't until this moment that I fully gained a sense of self-respect as an independent individual and control over my own life. Even if I were just a mayfly clinging to a tiny boat, I no longer felt insignificant. From then on, I put down roots in Didi and didn't return to W City for a full 6 years. The Green family would message me, nothing substantial, and I went from reading without replying to not even reading. But every message from Evelyn, I would read carefully. She shared her life like a running account. She said her business was doing well, opened my own shop again, used my old account to start reading books. Evelyn had money, but she loved adventure, seizing the trend. She ventured into the internet and started a short drama company. She built her business by writing scripts and partnering with 7 handsome young guys. In my second year of graduate school, I became Evelyn's workhorse. The little money she had couldn't sustain entrepreneurship at all, so I had no choice but to teach myself video editing to help her. That period was brutal. The editing nearly killed me, and I never wanted to see thirst trap guys again. so I hatched a cunning plan. Back then, I was notorious as the lab maniac, staying until midnight every day before leaving, but from that day on, I started coldly editing clips of suggestive male homoerotic content in the lab every day. It quickly caught the attention of a bunch of bored junior students, research monks, you know what I mean, and so we ended up with a bunch of cheap yet highly motivated laborers. In my first year of PhD, I got selected by the national team and had to return to my hometown for political vetting. So I first gave Mrs. Green a call. It's been 6 years since I last saw the Green family. Chandler came to our school once before, saying he was passing by on business, but I was busy with experiments at the time, couldn't leave the equipment unattended, and told him so. In the end, he stubbornly waited at the door for an hour before leaving, then they sent me a few 60-second square formations. I didn't even open them. At this point, calling Mrs. Green was just business as usual. You haven't committed any crimes, have you? Mrs. Green sighed helplessly. What are you talking about? I said. Oh, that's good then. After explaining clearly how the political review should be done, I was about to hang up the phone. Suddenly, Mrs. Green asked, "Oh, you were selected. What exactly are you going there for?" I thought about it and said succinctly, "Building rockets." Mrs. Green sounded surprised. "Huh, you? At such a young age," I replied. I graduated from university a year early and passed my exams quickly, which did save a lot of time. Mrs. Green was even more astonished. "Lily, so you're actually a genius." I was a bit surprised. She was unusually talkative today, but I still patiently explained, "No, the national team now has a large proportion of young people. Genius. It's just the threshold to meet them." After saying this, Mrs. Green suddenly fell silent. We waited a little longer. I said, "Is there anything else?" She whispered, "No." "Well then, Lily, we'll be waiting for you at home." After 6 years, I set foot in City W once again. Just as I stepped out of the airport, I suddenly heard a scream, "Lily!" I turned my head and saw a sea of people. Turns out Evelyn had actually brought out all the notable minor celebrities from her company. Now things got interesting. There was a ring of security guards outside, and beyond them, a crowd of adoring fans. Someone was screaming, "Brother, brother!" I spotted Evelyn in the crowd at first glance. Today, she was wearing a cropped leather jacket and pants, her hair dyed in rainbow colors. Not to mention her striking blue lipstick, she was even holding up a giant light-up sign, "Welcome back home, Scientist Lily." Heart heart, so many people. She simply had 2 handsome guys carry her on their shoulders, finally spotting me in the crowd and waving her light sign excitedly. "Lily, Lily!" I froze for a moment, just about to squeeze my way in when suddenly someone grabbed my wrist and dragged me out. Chandler said with a dark expression, "Hurry up, aren't you embarrassed?" Chandler and 2 Green family security guards forcibly pulled me out of the crowd. I felt like kicking them away. There were too many fans chasing stars on the scene, and they ended up separating us. It wasn't until I was shoved into the car that I finally had time to pull out my phone and send Evelyn a message explaining the situation. Chandler was still scolding me. "I think your PhD was wasted, spending all your time with these shady characters." I put down my phone, adjusted my glasses, and looked at him. "Show some respect, address her as CEO Evelyn." "Yes, I, Evelyn, have already struck it rich, working in a booming industry with local government support. These years have been smooth sailing. All these years, I've ignored the Green family, but Evelyn keeps me updated with their news, so I knew the Green family was already in decline, basically living off their past wealth. By their own logic, I feel they've somewhat disrespected me." Evelyn, hearing this, Chandler slammed the steering wheel hard, but he didn't dare hit me anymore. He just kept scowling until we got back to the Green's house. It happened to be dinner time. I secretly thought about going out to eat with Evelyn, but seeing how they had already set up this arrangement and no one had touched their chopsticks, I knew I wouldn't be able to leave easily. Nicole helped Mrs. Green walk over. "Sis." Mrs. Green pushed her aside directly, looking at me somewhat guiltily. "Lily, don't overthink it." I was baffled. "Did you two have a fight?" Mrs. Green, "No," I said. "Then you're still fine." "I didn't overthink it before, and I won't now." "There's no need to carry such a heavy psychological burden." Chandler flared up. "You're refusing a face-saving offer." Mr. Green, who had been pretending to be dead, suddenly shouted, "Chandler!" Chandler had no choice but to back down. As for me, I washed my hands and sat down to eat. At the table, I was the one with the best appetite, devouring my meal heartily. Seeing me like this, Mrs. Green relaxed a bit and started serving me dishes. She whispered, "Eat more, eat more. You must be exhausted after rushing back from Jing City." Mr. Green smiled at me and said, "Truly my own daughter, so accomplished." Nicole's eyes reddened. I sneered, "Mr. Green, saying that is utterly heartless." Mr. Green froze. "What did you call me?" "That doesn't matter," I said. "As far as I know, your company was on the verge of bankruptcy 2 years ago. It was only after Nicole married a divorced man for an alliance that you secured funding to keep your company afloat." Mr. Green's smile vanished instantly. What nonsense are you talking about?" Nicole also stood up, her eyes reddening. "My husband and I are truly in love. It just happened to help Mom and Dad too." "Stop trying to sow discord." Mr. Green finally regained some composure and said to me, "Look at her, now look at yourself." I smirked slightly and turned my head to look at Chandler again. "This one is truly your own flesh and blood. Take a good look. What kind of specimen is this?" Chandler was speechless. I then shifted my gaze to Mr. Green. "Since you took over your father's company, what achievements have you made? Aren't you just on the same level as your son?" Finally, I turned to Mrs. Green. "As for you, I can't even be bothered to say more." Mrs. Green trembled all over, covering her face as she cried. Nicole quickly hugged her, only to be pushed away abruptly. "Lily, I know you hate us. We neglected you in the past, but your father and I have already discussed it. We're giving you 20% of the company's shares." Those words seemed capable of stirring up 1,000 waves. Nicole couldn't take it anymore and choked out, "Mom, how could you do this?" Mrs. Green hardened her heart. "After all, you're not our biological daughter. We've given you more than enough." Nicole turned pale and ran out, but no one cared. Chandler said with a pale face, "Give her 20%. Then what about me?" Mr. Green said. "Don't you have any idea how poorly you've performed these years?" Chandler argued that the company's industrial structure was inherently disadvantaged, and it wasn't due to his incompetence. As a result, his father slapped him. Before anyone could settle the argument here, a sudden bang erupted outside the door, followed immediately by the nanny's scream. "The second young miss has jumped off the building." Everyone was startled, then rushed out in panic. "The third floor has a chance of being fatal if someone falls." Chandler was crying uncontrollably, glaring at me. "Happy now? Are you satisfied?" I was baffled. What does this have to do with me? Yet everyone was looking at me. Mr. Green, Mrs. Green, even the household servants, as if I were the culprit behind all of this. Startled by those gazes, I instinctively took a step back. Mr. Green walked up to me, glaring at me with malice. "Don't think just because you've made something of yourself now. We can't do anything about it. If I want to, I can ruin you anytime." Nicole was taken away by an ambulance, while I was detained by the Green family. Mrs. Green kept muttering at the door, "Lily, you're human too. All humans have parents and emotions. No matter how disobedient you were before, Mom could always forgive you. But now you've caused such a big disaster. If the police find out she committed suicide because of you, do you think you can still go to work?" I'm completely numb. That overwhelming sense of NPC doom has returned. I've come to realize now that I was suffering from severe mental illness back then. It was a self-defense mechanism, imagining the world as a game I needed to beat, simulating everyone around me as NPCs. Though things improved significantly after entering university, after years without relapse, having glimpsed the light only to be suddenly dragged back into darkness, an indescribable terror seized me, until there was a bang on the glass. I jerked my head up to see 2 former little troublemakers, now big stars, climbing in through the window. "Lily, don't worry, we're here." I suddenly gasped for breath. At the moment, only Mrs. Green and the nanny were at home. Evelyn walked in through the front door. Mrs. Green was so frightened that she hid in the nanny's arms. The nanny blustered with a fierce expression but weak inside. What are you trying to do?" "We're calling the police." Evelyn casually picked up a vase and smashed it to pieces. In an instant, flowers, water, and shards of glass scattered across the floor. Clutching a piece of broken glass, she pointed it at Mrs. Green. "There's no reasoning with trash like you, but there's one thing. Today, I'm taking Lily with me. If any of you dare to stop me, I'll slash your face to pieces, and no amount of money will fix it. And then, if you want to sue, go ahead." I've got plenty of money and people. Let's see how much compensation you can squeeze out of me, Mrs. Green shielded her million-dollar face in horror. Seeing me walk out, a glimmer of hope ignited in her eyes. Lily, how could you let her treat your mother like this? I didn't look at her and quickly walked toward Evelyn. Evelyn tilted her head to look at me. Are you okay? I whispered. It's fine, let's hurry and go. Evelyn pointed the glass shard at Mrs. Green again, shielding me as we left. Mrs. Green chased after us, crying, Lily, why can't you just forgive Mommy? Mommy won't have anything to do with that person anymore. Okay, Evelyn said impatiently, you really are impossible to reason with. I blocked Evelyn and turned around. At this point, there had to be a final reckoning between me and the Green family, I whispered. Nicole has nothing to do with this. Mrs. Green's eyes were brimming with tears. She looks quite pitiful. After staring at her for a long while, I finally uttered those words. I have no feelings for you or your family members, understand, and maternal love shouldn't be like this, high and mighty, as a reward, as charity, see how we perform, who is more worthy, for me or for her, Mrs. Green murmured, did I bear you in vain, endure the pain for nothing, lately? I keep dreaming of the day I gave birth to you, suffering day and night, and you were just so tiny, I gasped and interrupted her, how could it be wasted? I'm the only glory left in your Green family, you're all basking in my reflected glory, I think that's enough to repay your efforts, isn't it? Evelyn strode away with me in tow. All those connections Mrs. Green had been mysteriously hinting at, Evelyn secured them too. They weren't so noble or mysterious after all. They are very happy to open their doors to young and talented entrepreneurs. Therefore, Evelyn was quite familiar with the Green family's situation. Actually, Nicole had already been suffering from severe depression before, no matter the occasion. Whenever they encounter members of the Green family, they always talk about you, even if you don't come back. Nicole lives under your shadow. There's one more thing you might not know. Chandler dated Nicole. Hearing this, I was utterly shocked and turned to look at her. Evelyn smiled faintly, but Chandler wasn't capable enough. In the end, he could only let Nicole enter into an arranged marriage. Evelyn said that in recent years, the quality of life for the Green family has declined by at least 60%, all thanks to Chandler's relentless entrepreneurship and constant failures. They were also panicking, even before I returned. They had already raised funds in my name, aiming to break into the tech industry. Perhaps fearing I might be uncontrollable, they set up their trap in advance, but there's absolutely no way I would stay and cooperate with them. Evelyn suddenly asked me, what about you? Do you really have no feelings for them? I adjusted my glasses and replied, none, not at all. Even from the first time I stepped through the Greens' front door, I knew this was a hurdle I had to overcome. I asked Evelyn, is this abnormal of me? Do you think I'm too cold-hearted and dislike me for it? Evelyn parked the car and gave me a tight hug. She laughed and said, you're like the moon in the sky. I don't care who you love or don't love, who you shine on or don't shine on, just stay up there high and bright. That's all I need to be happy, that's all I love. With that, she pulled me out of the car. Don't worry about this matter, I'll handle it for you. Now, come with me to experience some lowbrow pleasures. What lowbrow pleasures? You know, wine, women, wealth, and extravagance. Throwing money around like dirt. Living in a whirl of luxury and indulgence, Evelyn ordered 18 male models to dance for me. She had her roster of celebrities take turns toasting me. They drank alcohol, while I sipped juice. 7 blonde guys lifted me up and asked if I wanted to feel their abs. I burst out laughing and said, we're too close. I couldn't possibly. Amidst a chorus of complaints, I pointed at those 18 male models. I'd rather touch them, ugh. They're nowhere near as famous as us. That day, I slept groggily in Evelyn's massive mansion. When I woke up, Evelyn had already been to the Greens' house. She came back and told me, Old Green promised to cooperate fully with your political review. I responded with a simple, don't ask about the process, just feel very secure inside. Once these matters are settled, parting will soon follow. I know in my heart that once I leave, it will be many years before we meet again. I feel a faint sense of melancholy. Perhaps it's because I'm older now, and my state of mind is different from back then. When I left City W all those years ago, I was actually in quite a hurry. With youthful enthusiasm, I only wanted to hurry and study, compete, strive, and use my own hands to explore the upper limits of my life. And now, for the first time in my life, I feel sorrowful about parting. At that moment, I was surprised and gently covered the area of my heart. The emotions of being human, I've finally experienced them. Evelyn patted my shoulder lightly and then gave me a hug. When Big Sis expands her business to the capital, I'll keep looking out for you then. I froze for a moment, then smiled. Yeah, later, the Green family went completely bankrupt. Nicole became disabled, got divorced, and then married Chandler. She doesn't seem very happy after marriage. Mrs. Green used to call me frequently at first. Later, she stopped calling as much. I'm very busy. Swamped every day, coolly blasting off rockets. It's just that looking back now, if you don't stay in touch for over 10 years, even blood relations don't mean much anymore. Many things about the Green family, I even heard from Evelyn telling me, later, she really did move the company headquarters to the capital. I'm a marriage-free advocate, having been in a relationship with a colleague for years without getting married. Evelyn got married 3 times in total. And I was her bridesmaid all 3 times. By the 3rd time, we were both nearly 50. Evelyn found herself a young pup in his early 20s, though he was an outsider to our circle. I always suspected he was after Evelyn's money. I was so startled that I immediately spat 3 times on the spot. Evelyn's wedding was nothing short of Beijing's most elite social event, wearing her wedding dress and flaunting her fully tattooed arms. She carried herself with effortless confidence, that is, until she was called on stage to toss the bouquet. She waved me up and said with a laugh, "This is my girl, a scientist, top-tier brilliant. Thank God I met her early, or I might never have had the chance to be friends with someone this amazing." She handed the microphone back to me. "Lily, say a few words." I looked at her somewhat puzzled. This wasn't part of the script the previous 2 times, but seeing her still radiant smile, I suddenly felt a surge of emotions and took the microphone. "Evelyn, you always say that, but in my heart, you're actually the most amazing one. We've both defied fate, but you achieved success earlier than me, and you've always had my back. We've walked together from youth till now, and everyone says youthful spirit is a non-renewable thing. Haven't you heard? Time flows like falling petals and rushing water. Days gallop by like a whip urging a swift horse. No matter how many seasons pass, I want to strive alongside you, to struggle with the heavens, to struggle with the earth, to struggle with mankind. There is infinite joy in it." I know my words might sound somewhat inexplicable, but Evelyn seemed to understand. Amidst some encouraging applause, she suddenly hugged me with a cry and shoved the bouquet into my hands. She whispered softly in my ear, "Just give him a proper title already. Don't worry, from now on, I've got your back too." I turned to look at my silly old boyfriend in the audience, clapping along foolishly, still wiping the corners of his eyes, so I didn't refuse Evelyn's bouquet and softly replied with a yes. At that moment, I realized, perhaps to others, my life thus far seemed exceptionally successful and happy. But only my closest friends understand that my life has been a series of waxing and waning moons, and now, at this very moment, the last missing piece in my heart has finally been filled. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.